Hello and welcome to the CEO Magazine CEO Shows. This is your host Nick Vaidya, bringing you yet another marvelous conversation. In today's business environment, there are only two paths available to maintaining competitive advantage, as we will be reminded of in the following conversation with the COO and co-founder of Market America, a $650 million direct marketing firm. Operating in a highly competitive market, they have continued to be successful by ingraining these two concepts into their culture. You will hear their story of how they got started from ground zero to becoming a significant global brand. They have a direct marketing sales force of over 180,000 members and continue to grow. So what is in their culture that allows them to succeed? It took us time to get to the crux, but it is worth listening to in order to use those same concepts in just about any business situation. So here is my conversation with Marc Ashley of Market America and Shop.com. Welcome to the CEO Show.
I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. Why don't we go about trying to get a better sense of what is it that Market America does? How do you position the business at this point in time?
That's great. Just to give you sort of a high-level overview of Market America, we're a 22-year-old company. We're an internet marketing and product brokerage company. We have what we call unfranchised owners, or small entrepreneurs that are all over the world. We started in the United States 22 years ago, and now we've expanded into Canada, the UK, Singapore. We just launched literally a week and a half ago, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Mexico. I lose track after a while.
Right.
But we have fully established markets in all of those countries. Spain is launching. Australia was our first country we ever launched. I don't know if I missed any, but we're in about 8 to 10 different countries.
Right, and I understand that you have about 180,000
of these
what you call small entrepreneurs or solopreneurs.
Exactly, all over the country and the world, and that's how we started. And when we first started, the internet really wasn't around, and these entrepreneurs would sell traditional direct selling methods. They would talk to people, word of mouth, etc. And then as the internet started to evolve is when our company really started to take off. And we developed an internet website and continually to gradually and move that along till about 3.5 years ago, we really wanted to ramp it up. And we actually bought Shop.com,
right,
which is based out of California, near the Silicon Valley. It's in Monterey. We felt like probably no better URL or domain name out there than Shop.com for people who want to shop, because
I bet you paid a oodles amount of money to get Shop.com.
Right. I mean, that name is pretty, yeah. When you take a look at what some of these other domain names cost, like realestate.com and all these other ones. So we loved it for the name. We loved it because they already had an infrastructure of engineers, developers, analysts, etc. And we bought Shop.com to ramp up our internet efforts. So our sales force was growing, but we wanted to increase the new consumers coming to the site. And each one of these entrepreneurs are armored with their own Shop.com site. Anything that's purchased on there, they monetize it. So we basically put them in business.
Right. And what's the revenue like?
What's that?
What's the revenue like at this point?
Right now, our revenue is about $650 million per year.
Per year.
And that's starting. There was 3 of us when we started with out of a little 1,200 square foot house with no money. I promise you, no money. No venture capital money, blood, sweat, and tears. Do what you have to do. Pick up the phone. While my friends were in college, I was literally on the weekends packing boxes. So I didn't get to enjoy that part. But our goal.
And what's better than doing it with your family? I believe your sister and your brother-in-law were part of the 3-people team. I mean,
yeah, my brother-in-law is actually he's sort of the visionary in the business. He's the one who is, it was his idea, his thought. My sister, Lauren Ridinger, is really the sort of the marketing arm of the business. Anything dealing with marketing and branding, she's a rock star at. And my role has always been in running the business every day. So, Jer's focused on the field, growing the field, but we all do a lot of the same things too. We touch all of those points as well, but it's worked out to be a good match because each of us have our own core competencies, but we all still watch each other and help each other out at the same time.
Now, the 650 million is for shop.com, or is it for Market America, or is it the same thing?
Worldwide, which also covers the shop.com site as well.
Okay. And are your products that you sourced directly in the sense that are you the only and exclusive distributor of those products, or do you source anything?
That's a great question. When we first started the business, we said we really didn't want to get into the manufacturing end of the business for many reasons. One, we really didn't have the money to have the capital to build the machines and all these type of things to get an assembly line going and to make the products. But we also felt like by having the manufacturing could limit the time it took us to bring these products to market. So what we do is we have a group of doctors and scientists on staff. They're out there and sourcers who are looking for the most cutting edge products out there. And they work directly with our suppliers all over the country, and they'll make the formulas with them. They'll develop them, and we'll get the exclusive rights. So our products you can't find in a retail store. You can only find them exclusively on shop.com or through a sales entrepreneur or unfranchised owner, as we call them. So they're all exclusive, and that was the beginning of the company. And then we said, look, it's much easier, and we believe in this motto, it's much easier to get an existing customer when they really enjoy your products to buy more of your products than it is to find a new customer. So we said, why don't we branch out our business? And since people love our products, why don't we sell other products like suits, ties, shirts, whatever? And that built into our One Cart program, where we have now over 3,000 stores that people like me and you buy from every day. Target, Walmart, Bloomingdale's, any kind of product you can think of, about 40 million on the site via search too, where you can find those products as well. And those unfranchised owners actually earn, again, they monetize anything that's purchased from not just our products, but from those products as well.
So if I may say so, originally it sounds like it was what was traditionally has been dubbed as the MLM.
Yeah, really more direct selling.
Now it's more direct selling.
More direct selling, yeah.
And you changed it with shop.com to include basically like a crawler that you're now sourcing products from just about anywhere, so that the same customers that you have will have access through your channel rather than going to Target.
Yeah, actually, you're right there. So started out as a direct selling model, just like you were saying. And direct selling and multi-level are different. Multi-level, you pay on levels. In our business, we pay on sales. So it's a different dichotomy there. So
it's not like Amway.
Yeah, so it's more like a Mary Kay, those kind of direct selling. You get paid on volume. So started out in that mode. Our unfranchised owners, those sales representatives, they built their own customers, right? But it was sort of the word of mouth in the traditional way. And then we said, in order to really ramp up this business, and at that time we had our exclusive products, and we did develop one of these partner programs where we had other products that we sold, the Targets, the Walmarts of the world that people could buy. But shop.com, we bought Shop because we felt like we could ramp up our customer base by utilizing a lot of the skill sets they had, utilizing Google AdWords, utilizing the technology. They actually, now we have it, but they actually have the registered patent on the One Cart, which is enabling multiple merchants to put products into your site and to be able to check out via on one site with multiple merchants. So the goal of Shop was obviously it was really to build more consumers into our business. And here's the beautiful thing about it, is those consumers that come in via us buying traffic, via us using all that traffic that's coming in, that customer acquisition, we give them to one of these entrepreneurs. So they get a high-tech website, but it's backed by an entrepreneur who gives them a personal touch on their website. So if you're looking to buy something on shop.com, instead of having to call, let's say, the call center to ask questions, you can call your personal guide on the internet, who is this small entrepreneur who has a really big incentive for you to buy products on the site. Why? Because they earn money. They earn commissions from the sale of anything that happens on the site.
So in other words, if I want to buy a digital camera, or if I want to buy something complex and I'm not sure how to think about it, in a sense, like you go to a car dealership and you discuss, so you have a consultant to help you, and that's one of the value propositions.
Exactly. And that person you would call, any sale that you make, they're going to benefit from. So they have an incentive, to actually to service you. So we sort of try to coin the phrase, it's high tech and high touch. So you have the high tech website, but the high touch of almost like you're going into a dealership and someone's right there holding your hand, but we do it from an internet electronic standpoint.
Right. So in a sense, this is, the middleman has already been disintermediated because of the internet. In many cases, you don't need anybody, but you are in a way trying to bring back the touch, which has been lost completely.
Correct.
So if you are bringing back the touch, how do you approach a customer where you say, here's the reason why you need the touch? I mean, I want to buy something like something very simple, something very easy to buy. Let's say if I want to buy a shoe or something, I could just buy myself. But there are things for which I need to do research.
Got it. Great question. So a couple things. So what's in it for the consumer, right? From the personal touch standpoint and anything else. So when we bought Shop, our first thing was building an incentive behind consumers wanting to buy there. So any consumer, and this is not the unfranchised owner who buys on shop.com, they get cash back for every purchase that they buy. So let's say we were looking for to buy something from Target, let's say. Well, you go to Target and you buy that item and you're going to pay whatever's on their site. You'll find that same item on shop.com with other merchants on there as well. Mm-hmm. And so you can comparative shop, find the best price. But anytime you make that purchase, whether it be from any store, we give that consumer cash back. So they're getting something for buying. And those prices are the exact same that they would find them at Target. So every day we're bringing in 40 million products, bringing in the deltas and so forth, and aggregating the site consistently. And at the same time, there's about 15,000 deals, daily deals on the site that match up with each merchant. So you would want to go to the site to find the best deal on an item that you're looking to buy. You earn cash back for it. And we also give you those deals behind it that you can use to save money. So you save money and you also earn cash back. And then the personal touch behind it is, one of the reasons we thought about this was as many times we would go to a website, struggle with it, and I think the internet's gotten a lot better about this, but you'll go to a site and you can't ever pick up the phone and call somebody to get help. You'd have to email them, and then hopefully they get back to you, and the confidence level of whether that company was going to deliver, and do I want to give them the credit card, do I not? Here, it's like you can pick up the phone and be rest assured that they're going to be picking up that phone 24/7 because they know that that's a potential sale for them to help walk that customer through. So that's where I think that personal touch is there, where you're on your computer, you're not in a store, and you could literally pick up the phone and talk to somebody. And, you're not just calling a call center either. You're actually talking to someone who has an incentive to make that sale.
Understood. And it's a great business model. What I wanted to really get at and understand, and from hear from you, how you want to really represent yourself clearly to an audience. Many times they have questions, and the purpose of this conversation is let those questions be answered as I asked them if I were interested in doing something like this.
I got you.
So one of the things is, and to understand the business model. So, what's your revenue model? In other words, if Target is selling through to you, and you're giving money to your consultants as well as to the customer, either you are squeezing your margins or Target is also providing you some support.
Yeah, so obviously our bread and butter of the business is our brands. That's where we're making the bread and butter. And that's a good 80% of our volume. But that extra 20% is gravy. Now, one of the nice things about that is we're not inventorying those. We're inventorying our own products. Like right here, we're in Greensboro, North Carolina. Out of this warehouse, we're shipping, and we have multiple distribution locations, but out of this warehouse, 40 to 45,000 packages a week, just out of this one location. But the beautiful thing about the partner model, if you will, the other stores, the Walmarts, the Bloomingdales, the Saks, whatever it may be, Tiger Direct, you name it, is the fact that we're not inventorying it. So, it's all electronic. We bring in their product data. Obviously, our margins, our business couldn't survive just on that.
Right.
Those stores, those 3,000 stores. Our bread and butter is our products, of course.
Right.
But
by augmenting your bread and butter product with the rest of them, you're offering a full slew of products to your customers.
Exactly. And in our case, there's not a ton of overhead in doing that other 20% because we're not handling the products. We're not shipping the products. We're not making the products. We're not having to spend the upfront money for them. They're being stored over there. Now, one of the things that we've already started to move into is because Target's only going to give you so much, right? Bloomingdale's is only going to give you so much. Saks is that what we're starting to do is go directly to the supplier. And what's changed in this whole e-commerce world, you hear this term thrown out there, omni-channel. And that's being able to really get out there and get your products out there in many different channels. And suppliers now are more than ever open to the idea of not only just shipping 18-wheeler trucks to different locations and different merchants, but drop shipping for you out of their location because they feel like they're missing a big segment of sales. So we made some significant deals with direct suppliers of some of the hottest brands you've heard of, and they'll direct ship to us. And now our margins can go up 3 to 4 times that amount from, instead of going, right now we go to merchant. Well, let's go away from the merchant and go directly to the supplier. And it can be even more of a revenue source and a profit source.
So ultimately, the biggest value you bring is the data source, which means the people who buy from you and your customers. That's the one big value you bring. And you collaborate with a bunch of entities, call them partners, call them suppliers, call them whatever you want to call them, but a bunch of entities come together because you own the customer.
Absolutely. And that's our most valuable asset is the customers. And our sales representatives are 180,000. If we come out with a new widget, they're going to buy it. Why? Because they have an incentive to buy it. And they have an incentive to go out there and market it as well. And, one of the big things that they do is they transfer their buying habits out of stores into their own business. We always tell people when we show our business, it's like, when Ray Kroc owned McDonald's, he didn't go to Burger King and buy his burgers. No,
Right.
It'd be crazy. He bought them from he'd pay more money. You have to be a product of the product. So our consumers and unfranchised owners are our most valuable asset, and their most protected asset that we have.
So they must, your unfranchisees or solopreneurs, they probably constitute the bulk of your buyers as well?
Actually, believe it or not, it's more of they buy a lot, but 80%, over 70% of what they purchase has to be resold to an end consumer. So really the majority of it still comes from consumers because those unfranchised owners get the credit for that.
Right.
The majority of it's coming from consumers. They do obviously purchase, right? Because they want to transfer their buying habits. Because remember, the unfranchised owner is getting those products cheaper than a consumer is.
Right.
So when you see one of their products on shop.com, it's going to be at a suggested retail price. Their price is at a wholesale price. So the purchasing is mainly happening online via consumers that the unfranchised owner is getting credit for. So 70+% of those purchases are definitely coming from consumers in the
That's
business.
very interesting to know, because there is some criticism levied on companies such as yours that the growth is not possible because the growth is finite, in the sense that after you have run through your sales force, so to speak, then you will have to find growth in other geographies. You can't find it here. But what you're saying is you have integrated the direct sales model with the online, by which you have bypassed the roadblock to growth.
Absolutely, 100%, because our focus is on customer acquisition. And then plugging them into the franchise owner who has gives them a personal touch. And I understand exactly what we read it all the time and see it all the time. That's why we thought so far ahead that, hey, it has to be a consumer-based model where now franchise owners are still getting their customers as well, but the focus is strictly on sales. It's not about getting other franchise owners, but getting sales, which makes the model really unique, and exciting.
If I'm not wrong, Amway has failed to do that well. Is that right?
Well, they had Quickstar. They changed their whole branding, and then they actually 2-3 years ago actually went back to Amway, sort of cut off the Quickstar model. I haven't followed them too much over the last 3 to 4 years, but I know at one time they were Quickstar, and everything was towards this revolution, and then everything went back to Amway, which I always thought was an interesting dynamic.
Right.
But that was something that, here's another thing that ties into that. Our franchise owners can't actually get paid until they actually submit documentation to the company showing that 70% of their purchases, forget the ones that are coming from customers, that 70% of their purchases have been resold to end consumers. So they have to prove that retail sales in order to even earn override commissions.
This is a fairly complex sounding model to a person who doesn't know much about this. Those who know obviously have continued to innovate and add features, functions, approaches, styles, frameworks. But as a business model, while the direct sales model has been around for a while, this seems like you have done a lot of thinking, strategic thinking, to create something slightly different, and that allows you to get the word of mouth and all the internet-based technologies to go out there and grow the business, as opposed to the traditional model.
I agree. There's no question. Totally. And, I think what you see as well is more innovative products as well, utilizing a lot of companies now, or products that come out, utilize a direct selling model because they know it's a good distribution method. Really all direct sales is, we could sell our products to the retail stores and do well, I think, do really well. All direct selling is another way of selling products and services to end consumers. Instead of putting them into stores, we decide to sell them exclusively through franchise owners. But we saw a long time ago that we felt that, there are some hurdles in that. Our Jim Reidinger, who was our CEO, one of the first 3 people, the founding visionary, was in Amway for many years. And that's where he got his start, but that's where he also got his belief in the industry. And he wanted to create something with us that changed sort of the perception of the industry and utilizing the internet. So marrying both together, just like you said, it's sort of the best of both worlds.
Interesting. Very interesting. So given that the changes in the marketplace that have happened, there are a lot of people who talk about internet marketing, and there's no dearth of them, and everybody's trying to teach the other how to sell. I don't know whether they sell themselves or not, but everybody's teaching others how to do internet marketing. And shop.com has quickly grown its Alexa ranking and other rankings, which is very commendable. What are the things that you guys have done to leverage the so-called internet marketing, which it's a serious business, so to speak? Those who call it themselves serious business kind of looks down upon the word internet marketing.
Yeah,
what's your take on that?
No, I mean, it's funny you say that because when you were talking, I think we were thinking the same thing because everyone throws out that word. I'm an internet marketing guru or, internet, and then you have digital marketing, right, at the same time. And it's like, what's the difference? And I think if you talk to 10 different experts, they'd all give you sort of different answers on what it is. But our focus really on an internet marketing side is obviously driving traffic to the site. And that is done through many different ways, through traditional ways of Google AdWords, and other methods like that. I mean, we will engage with third-party companies to buy traffic that comes in different ways. Our focus more, though, is on getting more out of existing customers because new customers are coming in via the unfranchised owner and via our efforts, but it's more on keeping that customer, which is always tough.
Customer loyalty is one of the big things for you.
Exactly. So cash back, that's what I was talking about before, is a big loyalty incentive program. We partnered with Adobe last year to where we can create personalization on our website. So if I go to the site and another person goes to the site, based on their previous habits, we're going to change actually the views on the website. So if I'm looking at sporting goods and someone else is looking at home goods or cosmetics, we're going to change the behavior of that website so it appeals directly and it gives that personalization to that particular person. Email marketing is a big focus for us. Discounts, putting discounts, and everyone today, it seems, wants a deal. And they're willing, and it's so easy to look for, instead of going to the store, they'll just go out, and I call it window shopping on the internet, and they sort of have fun doing it. They're trying to find the best deal, click a coupon code from here and from here and from here. So continuing to email market to our consumers, giving them deals all the time. We'll throw incentives out like, here's free cash back, here's double cash back, here's $5 in your cash back account so you can buy more. We partner with a company called MyBuys who does really great at retargeting. They'll look at exactly what the habits were on that consumer, and then they'll retarget right back to them similar products as well based on their behavior, and it's not slingshot or mass market. It's really based on what each individual.
So do you do a lot of data analytics and models and stuff like that?
Huge. I mean, that's we're doing that all, like everything that we do. So we have a group committee, and I sit in on a lot of them because I just love doing it. Right now we've been doing analysis of people who buy one of our products that, like, we were doing correlations of our products for one. If someone takes this one product, the other product would work well with it. It would make sense for them to take it in conjunction. So what we've done is we'll run data, see who's bought those products, and then also look at the database and see consumers who bought that product, what else do they buy? So instead of sending out 10,000 emails or mailers to different people, we'll target a segment that we feel like have a good chance of buying that product. Send them a nice postcard, send them a nice email, and we'll send them a free sample of the product. And one of the things that does for us is by sending them that sample, the cost to us is really nothing. But even if they don't buy that product that's what our goal is, that they see the sample, they try it, they love it, they buy it. As a consumer, they say, gosh, I got something free. And we tell them, you're special. This is why we're sending. And you're creating that lifetime value of customers. So even if they don't buy, you're still building a lifetime value. You can't go wrong. But we found that, and we'll target each one. We'll do samples of 1,000, of 2,000. We won't do a sample of 100,000 because we don't just want to slingshot it out there. We do traditional affiliate marketing of our own products to drive traffic and orders to our website. We'll utilize marketplaces as well to put our products out there. So there's so many different things. A lot of our focus is really, we do a lot on Google products and Yahoo products. That's been sort of we've done a lot better on Google products, Yahoo products, and Bing products than we've done on the AdWords itself. Those platforms have been very successful for us. We find that they're much better for us than even the traditional AdWords.
This is great. So loyalty is the cornerstone of your business. Fundamentally, customer loyalty is the cornerstone of your business.
Absolutely.
And you've got guys like what's his name from Bain Capital, who's written the book Loyalty Effect. Frederick somebody, I forget his name.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I forgot, but I'm with you.
Yeah, and the casinos and others also have massive loyalty programs, and companies that require loyalty for their growth and for their continued revenue and margins, they have to innovate because there's so much competition out there. There's so much going on. And as I talk to you, I hear so many new things and different things that your company is doing, which many others don't do. And maybe some are driven by the model where it's a leaking bucket syndrome. It doesn't matter. You get one transaction and then you get a new one, and if the customer stays, great. If it doesn't stay, no problem. Although I know that companies typically do a lot of segmentation work and identify the loyal customers, the 20% that really bring you 80% of your money, and so on and so forth. And you've done that too. But it's easier for you because you have this unfranchisee, as you call it, system.
Niche group. Yeah, it's a niche group that's what makes it so valuable, is that, they're pretty much going to buy what you tell them to buy. And they're going to promote. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a customer, like you say, who might buy and then never come back again.
Right. No, that is great. I mean, I'm reminded of Steve Jobs, who says customers don't know what they want. I will tell them what they want when he made the Apple products. In a sense, I'm not saying you're saying that, but in a sense, you have that degree of confidence and ownership into the minds of your customer that you are able to have that confidence. But at the same time, the reason perhaps you're doing that is because you have built that degree of connection.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. And I could, go through and give you even a plethora of other tools we built and toolbars and things that follow them on the web that keep them sort of sticky and tight on the site. But you're always looking to reinvent those kind of things because, like you said, there's so many different outlets and so much competition out there in the marketplace. And even greater than ever is that you'll see companies who sell stuff below their cost, and that's something that we'll sell stuff right at it, but it always blows my mind how some of these companies, they'll sell below cost just to get that traffic and hope to get, it's amazing. It's
and actually the things have changed. Customers have come to expect a lot of things for free, and you have to give a certain percentage for free or below cost oftentimes, so that you can then piggyback on the higher margin things, and hopefully you are making money, you're not losing money.
Right, that's the concept, exactly.
But then that's not really a sustainable model. At some point, you have to not do that.
Totally. It still mind boggles me because we've been doing this 22 years, and we've been profitable every quarter, increasing our profit every quarter, increasing our growth every quarter since we started, which is and then you see, some of the valuations of some of the companies who don't make a profit. It's still, to me, I guess I'm more old fashioned now. It's like, I can't, every day you read, how did this company get bought for $1 billion, right? It blows me away. It's like, maybe on the side, I should create this little thing and get, a bunch of customers, not make money and sell it for a couple billion.
No, it makes no sense. I mean, Warren Buffett clearly is a great example of, he says, this is not a business model. You essentially buy a database. The thing that is happening is you buying a database. But what people need to remember is numbers don't matter. If you don't have strength of association with your database, they will be ephemeral and vanish before you come to know. So you've spent $1 billion acquiring a database, and they don't want to stick around. Like I talk to my kids, and everybody knows now that Facebook, the reason they bought Instagram and Snap, whatever that thing was, is because young people are not getting on Facebook.
Instagram, I still tell one of the best buys Facebook ever made.
Yeah.
Without a question.
But they needed it. It made perfect sense. But oftentimes, you may be buying a database where you don't know the strength of the connection with that database, because these kids jump left, right, and center from one app to the next app.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
So one last question.
Sure.
How do you innovate customer loyalty, because that's something that's your core. So do you have a system in place that you might think as very common, normal, natural, but other companies don't have a clue that, whoa, I could do it that way? So your emphasis on customer loyalty, how does it work out?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's an everyday process. So there isn't a week that doesn't go by that our marketing teams, our IT teams, we stress here, think creatively, think outside of the box. There's no idea that can't be bad, because you just never know. So in our company, it's sort of a culture for us as it relates to that. So our IT, our marketing people, our product people, if there's good ideas, we sit down as a think tank and we run, we have strictly a committee with marketing, IT, I'm sitting in it, other executives, and the whole focus is on customer loyalty. And then we have a separate one on customer acquisition. And we run ideas by, and the reason we bring the IT people in is because they will go out and search for things and find things that are out there and bring them to the table. And one of those things that led to was like something called Shop Buddy. Shop Buddy is a tool that you go on shop.com, you download it onto your computer, and everywhere you go to one of these 3,000 stores that we partner with, when you go there, like if we went to, I keep using Target, it can be any store, and you go to their site, you won't readily see potentially their deals. The Shop Buddy follows you, and when you get to that site, it knows you're on that site and drops down. It says there are 60 deals from this store. Choose which one you want. So it's to me, it's more, and it's not rocket science. It's more just built in the culture. Then I think it's because of where we came from. Like you were referring to, we have this niche group of people. We know how to get them to buy. We know that there's a greed factor in there for them too. That the more they can make from selling a product, the more they're going to market it. And it sort of started from there, but it's just ingrained in us to continue that process by bringing in a multiple group of people within our organization. People you probably wouldn't even think about bringing in. Maybe most companies wouldn't bring in their technical team or their engineers until they came up with the idea. We actually bring the engineers in with us to be part of the think tank because they're all over the internet and they buy too. So to me, it's more of just a culture of focus because it's where we came from. That's what we feel our competitive advantage is that niche group. So it's always about what can we do more. It might not even be some revolutionary idea. It might be like, you know what, this store is doing pretty well. Let's add 4% cash back to it and get more people going there and get those people who are buying there, direct market to those people and continue to build loyalty. So some of them aren't revolutionary ideas, but some of them end up being that way. So it is literally a day-to-day focus at our company about creating that for people.
So it's the culture of incessant focus on loyalty with innovation.
Absolutely.
That is something that you have been able to develop, and that's the thing that's sustaining your organization and continuing to grow it.
I would say absolutely. I think you hit it right on the head. I think it's perfect.
Excellent, excellent. So how did you, or when did your company recognize that, wait a sec, this is the key driving force for our business? People are always confused. I talk to so many people, so many different businesses, and we are pulled in so many different directions. The focus sometimes is lost, and you think, I want to do these 5 things. Mm-hmm. But I have found the companies that are successful really clearly know what is the top thing and what are the next 2 things. Beyond that, it doesn't matter as much.
I think we realized this because it was how our business started with this niche group. But as the internet evolved, we knew, and a lot of this I have to attribute to our CEO. I'm the COO of that, who is a revolution. He'll be the kind of guy say, we need to be doing this. And you're like, really? Are you really? I mean, he's like really thinking outside the box. And at first you knee jerk it and you realize that, he used to always tell me all the time, he goes, take a company like Smith Corona, back before we were probably born, a Fortune 500 company, right? The typewriter. That would be a long-standing company. The rest and all of our I mean, who would ever thought they would not be in business after the word processor comes out, then the computer comes out. So I truly believe companies who are living by this certain motto and they're not changing are going to fall by the wayside. You got to constantly keep the core, the same thing, but look at reinventing or making better what you already have. And then it's got to be a focus, or people are going to leave you in the dust. I mean, look at I mean, we could go through and make a whole battery of these and list the MySpaces, if your user experience isn't there, they're going somewhere else now. So
and it's very, very quick. I mean, Kodak is one classic example of sleeping at the wheels. BlackBerry is an example.
Wow.
There's so many of them.
BlackBerry, I mean, come on, that was glued to our hip.
Yeah. And therefore I personally realize, and I see that happening with all the people, and I talk to a lot of CEOs of high growth companies, the Inc. 500 types, Inc. 100 types, and I also talk with CEOs of Fortune 100 companies. Innovation is the only competitive advantage.
That's it.
And that's it. If you are not doing that, sooner or later, you're going to falter.
And just like you said, Kodak's the perfect example. Kodak, large Fortune 500 company, maybe Fortune 100 company. And now why would you need a camera anymore when you have this? Who would want to carry it around right? It's amazing. And that's where you're right. It's about the technology, not necessarily about the product, And
you have to keep an eye out, always be on your feet. And as I hear you talking, and I hope the audience will realize as well, the energy that you need to put into your business, the passion you need to put into your business, to be able to keep your eyes open, ears open, and act with focus. Unless you're doing that, sooner or later, you will fail.
Exactly. And you got to instill that in everyone else too. You got to come in, because it's easy to get into a rut. It's easy. I mean, there's 1,000 things that you have on the plate. I've already realized that, I'll never be caught up. That just, I always used to, when I was younger, I used to say, I want to get caught up. That will never happen in a million years. You'll never caught up with anything, but it's a matter of keeping the focus, keeping the main thing, and continuing to reinvent yourself of what makes you really good and making that the best it can be, And
that's a great observation that you've made, that you will never get caught up, because as long as you're able to live with that idea, what that means is you've got to keep your eyes on the ball.
Right.
Things will fall off the plate, and that's all right. The ball mustn't fall.
That's exactly right. That's right. And that ball is profit too, right?
Profit too.
Right.
That's true. Hey, Mark, it has been an incredibly illuminating and pleasurable experience talking with you. I really enjoyed this conversation.
It's been great talking to you, and anytime you want to have me back, I'd love to be on. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.